name is Michelle Nur Ismat, but I was born Muhammad Nur Ismat about 29 years ago. Traditionally, when you're born, the first thing that doctor will look is at your genital, just to determine what is your sex. So I happen to be born on a boy's body, a male body. When I was 14, I realized that this is just not me.
In Thailand, they call them lady boys.
可能他是男生，可是他比较是向往女生，所以他就跑去变性，然后把自己从男人变成女人。
Sebab stress tu satu, and then second is main thing lah bagi saya, just for nafsu lah.
Some people definitely are born with a problem, and that somehow when they were being formed that there is a definite problem with their genes.
Bagi saya itulah dia mungkin pergaulan dia.
They're born in a wrong way. That's what I think. They're born like this.
Semua bangsa pun ada keadaan macam ini. Takkan dia orang semua buang? Ada yang orang semua sayang, diterima semua. Pasal apa kita tak boleh? Kita boleh usahakan dia orang, bagikan dia orang satu dunia dia.
For the LGBT community, people often say they have gender identity crisis.
People who are not LGBT, they have their identity crisis. The LGBTs know who they are exactly, actually. I know who I am. You know who you are. You don't need me to tell you who you are, but somehow there's not big group, there's a small group of people who are going around telling everybody, hey, you don't know yourself, I know you better than you know yourself. Yeah. But it's a very minority group that's going around making this noise. But they somehow can make a lot of noise. When they make noise, the media takes up their story. When the LGBTs come out and tell them, hey look, there's no issue, nobody picks up their story.
See, the thing is, society has this preconceived idea of what a man's supposed to look like, right? A man is supposed to look like
Tough.
Yeah, tough.
Short
short hair. Right.
Moustache.
You're a little off really, you got long hair, you're a little off really. See, that's the side, okay? So there are these boxes. And a woman, a girl, is supposed to have long hair, effeminate, ayu, lembut, tak bercakap banyak, like the whole idea of what makes men men and what makes women women and what they're supposed to look like is completely relative. Don't you? It's according to cultures. In some cultures, men can look effeminate and it's okay.
And they wear skirts in
and
Scotland.
They wear skirts in Scotland and nobody blinks an eye and they say, yeah, that's fine. Sarung tu.
At that time, I went back to my hometown because of my cousin's marriage. So after his wedding ceremony, my dad complained that his friends are asking questions. Questions like, I thought you had a son, but that looks more like a daughter. He took it back negatively. So we had a fight, and my mom was a bit torn between the two of us. So that's basically summarize how it started when they found out about my decision to become who I am.
Like usually, I think the connection is made because you see a lot of cross-dressers or in sex workers, right? They're usually sex workers. Why do you think they're in sex work? they
True.
have difficulties getting jobs, correct?
Right.
Now, I have a lot of friends who have tried getting jobs or who even got laid off from their jobs. You know, so after like say after they were arrested for cross-dressing. Now it's this huge vicious cycle. Now if you need money in order to survive, in order to eat, and you can't find a job anywhere else because employers, people like us, refuse to give them jobs. What do you think is gonna happen? They turn to any way and means to get food, right? To get money. And if that means having to do sex work in order to feed yourself, then you go into sex work. But who's really to blame? It's this really vicious cycle. Who's to blame for that predicament? It's our own biases, it's society's own biases and discrimination that results in forcing people into a certain type of work. You know, people usually say, oh, look at those cross-dressers. Look at them. You know, all they do is sex work. They sit in alleyways and all ni semua tak sihat, gejala yang buruk, whatever. But who's to blame for that? If we gave them jobs, would they be there? Hardly.
To be honest, those who didn't know that I'm a trans woman seems to accept me as who I am until I mentioned that I was born a boy. I don't really know why, but compared to others who had transitioned much earlier, my transition seems to be much smoother. Probably because for me I'm just being myself, whereas the first time they met me, they thought that, okay, who's this lady? The way I behave, the way I carry myself is as who I am. It's not to gain attention, so I'm not the loud type. It's not to show off. So even the way I dress, well, if you ever went through my Facebook page or even my profile, I do dress a bit daring at times, but that's just me being me.
What is wrong with letting a woman love a woman? What is wrong with letting a man love a man? What is so wrong if a guy wants to dress up like in women's clothes? So what? Does it harm anybody?
Actually, everything is natural. It's only some people have decided to choose that this is natural and this one's unnatural. Actually, the whole thing is natural. I ask you now, if a baby is born without the arm, is it natural or unnatural?
If all of us were to strip, not just down to our underwear, but just down to our muscles, veins and bones, we are all the same. All of us are the same. Okay. We have a heart, we have livers, we have what you call that? We have all the human organs. Well, down there, I don't like it. You can take it if you want it. We are all the same flesh and blood. Try to understand what's the same. Try to look at the similarities. Don't look at the differences. You can look at the differences just so that you can understand how to treat us. But don't look at them as a reason to discriminate us. Don't look at them as a reason not to accept us. At least tolerate our existence. We do exist. You can't deny that.
At the end of the day, why are the transgender community being discriminated? Is it because of us or the society? They've been trying all the time being who they are and what they are, but we just don't accept them to be standing in our gray area. So the idea of discriminating them lies in the hand of you, my audience.